Now we are looking at joins. If you have done SQL, then this would be straightforward. Inner join, left join, right join. Uh, if you have done Excel, then this is more similar to like VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP kind of stuff. I've talked more about this in my SQL 101 class. So suppose we have two data frames, DF1 and DF2, and they look like this. Key and data, and you want to join them. By default, join is inner in all programming languages. And we are going to join on key because key is the only thing that is common between them. So what we want to do is we want to take the key and we want to put the values across of whatever we get for the key. So we have B and B, A and C. So we have to go here, look at the B. B is 1, so put 1 here, 1 here. Take A is 0, put A here. C is not here, so put NA. A is 0, again 0, 0 and 1. So that's what we are going to do. Now by default, it's inner join, so if the value is not found in both the tables, we kind of ignore it. We don't go beyond that because it's an inner join, so it should be present on both the tables. Be reminded that when we join, there should be only one value of the other table. Let's try to break this down a little bit. So if I have A, and when I merge it, it's going to get much messier because A is 0 and A is 1. So what's going to happen here is A is 0 and from data 2, A is 2. 0 and 2. It keeps on repeating in the same way, and let's create an ambiguity. So make sure that when you join these things that you're bringing from your second table when you're joining is unique. Otherwise, it's going to get repeated in the same way. So A here would be 0, 2 and 0 and so on respectively. We can also say explicitly that we want to join on the key, but if the key name is already key, then we don't need to worry about that. Now Python is pandas is smart enough that it already knows that it has to search for the column that has the common name. So if there is just one column, and it should not be key, it could be any name, it searches for the common column and it puts it there so that our life is easy. Now if the column that we want to use to join two tables is different, if it's on one part it's left key and on one part it's right key, then we can say that on the left hand side that column is called left key, and in the right hand side that column is called right key, and it's going to join. This is very similar to SQL join. So if I look at df3 and df4, which I can do here, so here this is the left key and I want to bring df4 here, and df4 this has the right key. In earlier example this was key and key, but here one is left key and one is right key. So we can write that explicitly and it's going to do that join for us. Now an outer join is going to join, and if the key is not found on either side, it's going to put NaN. So inner join is an intersection. So types of join, if you see, then this is outer join. It's going to keep both tables intact. If the value is in one table, not in the other table, when you want to join, it's going to still display it. The default is inner join. So when you don't say anything, it's inner join because we don't want to see hash NA. If you're joining and you're getting hash NA, why do you want to show me that? It's not worth it to show me that. Maybe I don't need that. So that's how it would look like. Now we can define the key, and if we do a left join, the left table is kept as it is and all the applicable values from the right table are shown. Let me repeat that line. The left table or your starting table or the first table is kept as it is, and all the applicable values or whatever I could find on the right table, I'm going to put it across. So that's how left join would work. And you can also do an inner join, and you can do it on two keys. So when both the keys match, only then it's going to match. So that's the other part. Now when you do concatenation, which is different from joins, it just stacks and put thing one below the other. The equivalent for this is union in SQL. So if you remember union and union all in SQL, that is the equivalent of concatenate. Just put one below the other. String concatenation means just put string one across the other. Because merge and join are explicit words where you want to find a common column and join them. But here it's just stack one thing below the other. So if I say what is S1, this is my S1. If I want to see what is S2, this is my S2. If I want to see S3, this is my S3. And when I write x is equal to 1, it creates new columns when it puts or stacks one below the other. So that is when x is equal to 1. If you remember stacking and unstacking, we can take if we have two indexes, we can take one and put it on the top. So if we have data like this, and if I do stack, then these 1, 2, 3 would come down. And if I do unstack, then they go up. So if I have data like this, and I do unstack, then all of these based on the state, it gets unstacked, which means that they come on the top. So this is stacking and unstacking. Just be reminded that stacking and pivoting are a little different. And in the pivot and melt, you have to select the values. Here it gets done automatically. So that's stacking and unstacking. So we did three concepts. The first is join, left join, inner join, and outer join. Three types of join that we just saw. The other was concat, where it's going to just put one thing below the other. If you have two tables and they have the same stuff and you want to add rows of one to the other, then you would do concat. And stacking, if you have multiple primary indexes and you want to take them and put them into the column.